John Jones versus Stipe Miocic was an interesting fight to say the least. Before diving into the criticism, let's start with the positives. Jones had a solid, dominant performance in many ways, reminding fans of the classic 205-pound version of himself. It was refreshing to see him use that style again. In the first round, he was executing a beautiful trip, showcasing his wrestling and control, and while I expected more submission attempts, Jones stuck to what worked, and his kicks were as sharp as ever. Overall, it was a good performance. So let's break it down, round by round. In round 1, Jones established his game plan right away, keeping Stipe at bay with the jab and the front kicks. He looked calm and confident, he was dictating the pace from the opening seconds. Midway through the round, Jones secured a takedown that shifted the momentum entirely. On the ground, he was landing vicious elbows, forcing Stipe to focus purely on survival. Stipe struggled to find his footing, looking hesitant and out of sync from the very start. This pattern carried into round 2, where Jones continued to dominate. His ability to mix up the strikes targeting the body, legs, and head kept Stipe guessing. Despite Stipe's attempts to respond, nothing landed cleanly. By this point, it became increasingly clear that the long layoff and age were working against him. Jones, meanwhile, didn't take any unnecessary risk. He carefully picked his shots, maintaining and controlling, while Stipe seemed unable to find his rhythm. By round 3, Jones decided to close the show in spectacular fashion. He opened aggressively, landing a clean right hand that forced Stipe to retreat. Moments later, Jones threw a spinning back kick to the liver that visibly hurt Stipe. Sensing the end, Jones followed up with a flurry of punches, and that's just how the fight went. Alright, enough praising Jones, it's time to address the obvious. As good as Jones looked, this fight wasn't the challenge fans were hoping for. Stipe, while being undeniably a legend, was clearly past his prime. At 42, he just didn't have the speed, confidence, or sharpness to match someone as skilled as Jones. Sure, Jones dominated, but the lack of a real threat from Stipe takes away some of the weight from this victory. It makes you wonder, how much credit does Jones really deserve for this performance? I mean, sure, he looked great, but Stipe wasn't anywhere near the fighter he used to be. Instead of being a clash of titans, this fight ended up showing more of Stipe's decline than Jones' greatness. It's fair to ask how Jones would stack up against a younger, well-rounded fighter in their prime, instead of an old dude. Now, that's not to say that Stipe didn't have his moments. He showed his trademark toughness, taking some heavy shots without going down, but the hesitation and the lack of confidence were hard to miss against someone as methodical as Jones. That kind of indecision was a recipe for disaster. Jones didn't need to do anything flashy, he just stayed sharp and took advantage of Stipe. And that's where the real issue lies. This fight didn't feel like a clash between two elite heavyweights at their peak. Instead, it was a demonstration of what happens when one fighter is operating at a high level while the other is clearly on the decline. Jones got the finish, but many expected it to come even sooner. The fact that it took 3 rounds speaks more to Stipe's toughness than Jones' dominance. Now, to be fair, while Jones had his moments and looked good, he also looked really slow. And don't give me that all heavyweights are like that excuse. These two were fighting in what felt like slow motion. When you watch guys like Jelton Almeida or Tom Aspinall, they're quick, explosive, and they bring real speed. Jones and Stipe just didn't have the same intensity or pace. This is exactly why fans are calling for Jones to fight someone like Tom Aspinall. Not just because he's the interim champ, but because he brings everything Stipe didn't: youth, speed, explosiveness, and unpredictability. Aspinall is the kind of fighter who could really push Jones and test him. A fight like that would just be exciting. It would shut up the critics who want to see Jones face a legit, dangerous contender. That's why I generally hope that the UFC offers Jon Jones the bag to fight Tom, because this matchup could be as big as Jones versus Alex Pereira. What makes it even more compelling is how their styles clash. Aspinall's blitzing offense and athleticism would force Jones to adapt in a way we haven't seen recently. For those who argue Jones is the GOAT, this is kind of a fight that would further cement or challenge that claim. If Jones isn't interested in facing Aspinall, that's fine. He had an incredible career and we can appreciate the memories. But with Dana White already shutting down that possibility of Jones versus Alex Pereira next, Aspinall feels like the only fight that makes sense. It is the matchup that the fans deserve. And let's be clear, this fight isn't about what Jones can do. Aspinall brings a real threat to the table. His speed, explosiveness, and ability to blitz opponents, giving him a genuine chance to disturb Jones' rhythm. The fact that an aging slower Stipe was able to touch Jones at times only boosts his confidence in Tom's chances. If this fight happens, it will answer so many questions about both fighters. Can Jones handle Aspinall's boxing and offensive burst? Can he drag Tom into deep waters, testing his cardio and toughness? Aspinall has yet to go beyond the second round, largely because how dominant he's been. This potential matchup can push both fighters to their limit, making it one of the most exciting fights in UFC history. And look, man, at the end of the day, it was a solid performance from Jones. Hopefully he comes back and fights Tom Aspinall, but if not, he had an incredible career and you can't take that away from him. I know I had to be a bit critical here, but I'm just keeping it real. But anyways, guys, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.